This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, Lowco sports fans, welcome to a Monday night Memorial Day edition of the Lowco Sports Lowdown. Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr with you tonight. Mad Max is out seeing a movie with Pops, seeing the Planet of the Apes, and fortunately, the Lowco has avoided a Planet of the Apes situation. We'll have an update on Bradley the Baboon. Bradley the Baboon was captured.
Okay, good to see that end up with a solid ending there. For after it was a crazy story that came out.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later on Share and Tell.
By the way,
some more Bradley updates.
I did see Mad Max Furioso.
Oh, did you? How was it?
Very good. Yeah,
solid.
No, it was action packed for sure. Yeah, no, definitely if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I mean, I went to Beaufort Brawl. I might as well go to Mad Max Furioso, right? Beaufort Brawl was fun. It was a good time. We rounded it all up last night on the Lowco grind. Carlo and I did a little post-fight recap show Saturday night that we recorded, and then we aired that last night, and then went into a live broadcast with myself, George Dixon, Coach Rutherford from Battery Creek, and Blake Maffei from Reveling. So we got caught up on some wrestling news from around the Lowco and just chopped it up a little bit. So that was good stuff. If you're into the combat sports, you can go check that out. And we do have a couple of little clips that we'll show later on in the show from the other night at Beaufort Brawl, which was a good time. I mean, again, it was, whatever idea you have of what an amateur MMA card is going to look like, what that environment might look like, probably not quite what this was. I mean, it was a very welcoming environment. It was a positive and respectful environment. Everybody was there for the competitors were there to compete, and the fans were there to be entertained, and it was a good vibe. Enjoyed it a lot, and came away with a different kind of respect and perspective for the guys who get in that cage and get after it, because man, it's rough. I mean, I know about wrestling. I know how tough that can be. Well, you mix in punching and kicking with wrestling and trying to show there's a lot of things you can do in that you can't do in wrestling that you sometimes wish you could. But no, it was fun. It was a great night of competition and entertainment. And I enjoyed it, and there was some fun stuff that we'll share later on. What have you been getting into, man? I got in the pool today. Did you do some traditional Memorial Day activities?
Yes, the normal normal things that you do. Yeah, for sure. But I actually got to play some pickleball.
Nice.
Are you a big pickleball guy? You play some pickleball?
I don't play much pickleball at the moment. Not any pickleball really. But when I worked at USCB, especially in the winter and in the summer, we would set up the pickleball courts on the basketball courts and play a good bit. And I wasn't great, but I could compete. I was a pretty solid doubles partner.
I love it. I love pickleball. It's a great casual sport for people of all ages, and we're seeing young children, teenagers to older adults play it. Like everybody.
It's very accessible. As long as you're playing against a kind of like-skilled opponent, almost anyone can play it, and that's what's great about it. Now, played at the highest level, it is impressive to watch. It's unreal. I mean,
international circuits now with the most talented players, and they'll show it up. They'll air it on some of the sports networks now.
Yeah,
and it is definitely a large step up compared to what you see in your normal weekend league on the island.
Yeah, I went and covered. I forget who I covered it for now. One of the magazines, a clinic that they did at Palmetto Dunes one time with a couple of pros. And they were both like high level, they're college tennis players who played a little bit of pro tennis and kind of hit the wall. And then they started playing pickleball, and they were phenomenal at it. And they were able to ascend to much greater heights in pickleball than they ever were in tennis. So that's another kind of cool aspect of it. It's another place to go after your tennis career, kind of hits a wall. You can go be competitive and earn money there. Yeah, great example.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of like celebrity investment in professional pickleball I'm not completely sold that it's going to make it as a spectator sport on television, and that's kind of the key to getting enough money to be able to pay people to do it for a living, but there's certainly a market out there, and the people who love it are fanatical about it, and that's what it takes to create a little space in the market there. But fun sport, fun game to play, great exercise. Fun way to get exercise without realizing you're getting exercise.
Right.
That's always a good thing if you can trick yourself into it. But we are going to talk some baseball here in a bit. We get Coach Mullis going to jump on with us and talk about some various stuff, what's going on with some local dudes, including Paul Winland, who former Beaufort Eagle, is now at Georgia Gwinnett College, and they are out in Lewiston, Idaho, enjoying the bite-sized steak and the fry sauce and all that Lewiston has to offer. I have great memories of that place with USCB back in 2012. Paul's out there. They won game one. Paul went 0 for 3 with a walk and an RBI. He's had a hell of a season for the Grizzlies. His slash line going into tonight is 357, 500, 697 with 13 doubles, 4 triples, 14 homers, and 86 RBIs in 58 games. So he's having a monster year playing third base for them. They won 5-2 against Indiana Southeast on Saturday, and they're playing here in a little bit, 9:35 p.m. our time. They're playing Tennessee Wesleyan. So, 6:35 out there. They got the primetime game out there, but it goes late here on the East Coast. So we'll keep tabs on that. But good to see him doing well. We'll talk about some other Lowco guys with Mullis, and we'll talk a little about the College World Series.
Yeah, regionals coming out today. A lot of South Carolina teams in the mix here,
but not Charleston. They got hosed.
Heartbreaker for Carleton Charleston. Yeah, I feel for those young men. There were a lot of debates on who should have gotten in and who was left out, and just tough to see that Cougars team just fall short because it's a very it can be a biased, unbiased decision when you look at those last. I mean, we talk about the NCAA tournament for basketball and just these other kinds of sports where there are teams that have deserving resumes, yet they're left out of the mix, which is just tough to see. But just unfortunate for College Charleston, but we do have a couple other South Carolina squads in this tournament. We'll get to that later, but just going back to the NAIA World Series, what a cool environment that must be, especially where it is, because they live and breathe this event, and like the whole city is like shuts down, or like the whole area, and goes to watch these baseball games, which I think is really cool. It's kind of similar to what you see in Omaha, but it's much more intricate here because it's not as big, and
it's a really interesting thing, and it's kind of hard to describe. It's kind of one of those things you have to see it to get it. But you're right. It's a lot like Omaha, except it's a much smaller town. So literally almost every shop in town shuts down when Lewis and Clark plays their games, and they the first night they always get the primetime game, and they're set up so that if they keep winning, they stay in the primetime game. Obviously, they can't gerrymander the bracket if they lose, but they're always set up for that. And the town shuts down, and they go to the night games, and everybody's there. And I likened it to when you go down there after everything's closed down, it feels like the town in Field of Dreams where they find Moonlight Graham. Like everything's just like, just a little off and like back in time a little bit, and there's nobody around, and it's kind of eerie. But no, the folks are there. They love it. They take a lot of pride in hosting that event. They really take care of the people who come in for it. You're treated like royalty when you're in town for the tournament, and they can pick you out. And if you come and come to their establishment and you bring them some kind of pennant or something, they'll hang it up and they'll root for you all dang week. That's their team, So it's a cool thing. It was a really cool thing to experience, and the people who get to go back year after year because their programs are always there, like the Tennessee Wesleyans, and for a long time the Embry-Riddles, and now the Georgia Gwinnett's.
Been there a while.
Southeastern's been there a number of times. Yeah, like once you get a little taste of it, you don't want to miss out on it again. The bite-sized steak, let me explain that. Basically, It's not a good cut of steak, all right? It's mediocre steak. But they cut it up into bites and they deep fry it like country fried steak kind of, and then they serve it with fry sauce, which is some concoction of mayonnaise and ketchup and spices. Everybody's got their own kind of little recipe of it, but it's mighty good. It's a nice delicacy up in Lewiston, Idaho. So I enjoyed it. When we went up there, we stayed at the Native American casino that was outside town. That was an interesting experience, especially with a bunch of college guys staying with you that you're responsible for. That was an interesting experience, but no, it was a great time. The kids, I think of those kids, Brady Sacha and the new generation of young Brady Sachas who get after the golfers to try to get all their gear and their autographs and all that stuff. The kids in Lewiston do the same with the baseball players and treat them like celebrities. And I remember Kyle McCullough from USCB coming back after we lost our last game and got eliminated. He came wandering over and looking kind of dazed, and we're like, "What's up, man?" And he goes, "I think I just gave that kid my shoes." And we're like, "What?" He said, "That kid just walked up and said, 'Can I have your shoes?' And I handed them to him and he ran off. I think I just gave that kid my shoes." So that was a good one. But yeah, we'll talk a little more ball here because we got our buddy Ned Mullis joining us. What's up, Mullis?
How are y'all?
Doing well, buddy. We were just talking about Paul Winland out at the NAIA World Series, and I was recounting some memories from Lewiston when I went out there with USCB in 2012. That was a good time. But speaking of NAIA, one of your favorites, NAIA Sunday job, came up today in the pool because I saw your buddy Stu hanging out with Stu in the pool. We were talking about NAIA Sunday games where you run out of orange.
You'll find somebody you can handle on a Sunday.
That's right. If you're in a slump,
about that third reliever on a Sunday, you'll see some doubles.
Sunday's coming, baby. He said he saw our buddy Josh Patterson at Kroger today. So it's a small world out there. But we were just talking a little bit about College World Series bracket coming out, and you've got a personal tie to Clemson, and with Wilson up there just graduating and part of the staff. How about that Clemson regional? It's going to be tough.
Ooh, man.
He said he would let me know a little more tonight after they finished their I think they're pretty – I mean, they're going to have to – they're kind of – I'm not going to say limping in, but, they've had a lot of injuries, and they need to, they need to right the ship. But they typically I think they'll do a very good job.
Yeah, I've seen many a year where they've hosted the regional and they just have untimely errors or just unfortunate plays go against them. And I hope it goes the other way for them because, this Clemson team coming off another really solid year. I spoke about it to Jacob Hindleiter, a friend of mine from Davidson on that Clemson team, which is a cool connection there. But yeah, I mean, you got.
Yeah, he went to Stark's rival high school in Hawaii.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. You want to go small world stuff.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, Coastal Carolina, so a nice in-state rivalry brewing there. They're the 3. So Clemson will play High Point to start off the 4, and then Vanderbilt coming in as the 2, which has been a storied program over the years. Never easy going against them this time of year. So Clemson will have their work cut out for them in this regional, but it should be a ton of fun. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see any of those top 3 make it through into the supers. It is a very tight difference between a lot of those squads, especially in that regional. But tough to see College of Charleston just miss out. A lot of people were very upset that they were not selected.
Don't count me as one of them.
So you think they didn't?
Oh, I didn't say that.
He just ain't sad about it.
Still a good showing, though, for South Carolina.
Here's the problem, Les. you got to read.
Somebody
needs to ask this guy that question. I've been watching Holbrook mad all day long at everybody but the wrong person. He made that schedule. 110th in the country in strength of schedule. You put Florida, you put Coastal, you put any of those teams in that league. That is a top-heavy league. Northeastern and UNC Wilmington are the only two really good teams in that. Maybe Elon, but this isn't a good Elon team.
Have to have.
Look, I've had some personal friends that were coaches at the College of Charleston. And believe me when I tell you, every one of those coaches know the problem they've got before they go in there.
Right.
That CAA is going to bring them down like an anchor.
Yep. You got to beef up the schedule in the non-conference.
He knew it. They didn't play South Carolina this year. They didn't play Clemson this year. They went from playing Coastal 4 games to 2 games. I mean,
that's why we bring Mullis on.
Right.
Well, it's just frustrating because, I mean, look, I've been reading all this about how they've been, nobody's asking the question of, dude, you made that schedule, and I know why they don't play Carolina.
Ben Upton, who college baseball reporter guy, he actually lives here in Bluffton. I asked him if he wanted to come on tonight, but he was busy, but maybe later this week. But he called 63 out of the 64 in his projection. But more importantly, he said, I think the committee screws over Charleston, TCU, Troy, Lamar, Hawaii, Xavier, and Northeastern. And his point was that several of those have committee members. Several of the teams that got in that were on the bubble had committee members, which is always curious. But I don't care about all that stuff. But I thought that was interesting that he called 63 out of 64.
Well, Coastal's AD was the head of the committee.
Oh, was he? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, they got in. I think that's the point.
And Wilson's been telling me for a month that it means something with Gilmore retiring. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And he was like, I'm just telling you, Dad, I bet they get in. And
Florida, Indiana, Coastal, and Kansas State had committee.
You don't think Florida's not going to have a good year in the CAA?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, look,
look, I remember, let's see, I've been to the College of Charleston and watched them play Michigan. I've been to the College of Charleston and watched them play North Carolina non-conference. Their non-conference schedules back in the day were just who's who. And look at Coastal's non-conference every year is just loaded.
Yeah.
Those first tournaments of the year, they know. And, I hate it for those kids up in Charleston, but, winning 40 games, it ain't what it used to be. They can really gauge you on strength of schedule these days.
Right.
I'll tell you something else you're going to find out quickly is ACC versus SEC.
Yep.
Every 1 seed that the ACC has, a host, has a 2 seed SEC team.
Yep. Your Wolfpack got the Gamecocks.
You got the Gamecocks. I already talked to Monty a little bit. That's going to be interesting. Giving out restaurant suggestions. No, I think they got the best draw of everybody. Who is it? Is Bryant?
Yeah.
James Madison.
Yeah, James Madison in South Carolina. And NC State, that's a beatable team. South Carolina could definitely.
They're hot, though. They're hot.
Yeah.
State's hot. Carolina's hot. That might be one of the better regionals. Avent's really good in regionals, too. The other thing, what's the old joke, Justin, about JMU? Y'all know what JMU stands for?
I knew it at some point, but I don't remember.
I had a buddy of mine that used to tell me this all the time. This is hilarious. Just miss UVA.
Yeah. I knew it was just miss.
I thought it was a really smart.
Just miss.
Perella, if you're out there. Hope he's doing
I knew somebody. I'm trying to remember now who it was. Who was the JMU Bulldog?
Lucas Perella used to play at Hilton Head. His dad, JMU guy.
Well, a couple of Lowco guys are rostered. I don't know that they're going to see playing time, but rostered on teams that are going to regionals. A couple Sharks, James Lehman at Wofford, and Darren Horn at Coastal. He hasn't pitched this season, right?
No, he's getting healthy.
Right. He's going to the Cape, right? So
talked to his dad today. Yeah, I think he's going to pitch in the Cape Cod League. Been a little bit of shoulder problems with him. Good report on James. James is doing well. He's in a really good spot because they truly develop up there.
Yeah.
You don't. If you're not playing by your first or second year, you might need to start thinking. But at Wofford, and they don't have a whole lot of turnover, and they develop their guys. So we'll see. I look for good things out of him next year. Plus, he fits perfectly in their style. Wofford leads the country again in steals.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. Where did they went to that hard region? That's the killer, isn't they? Aren't they in the ECU region or North Carolina? No, they're at UNC, right?
I'm looking it up. I don't remember off the top of my head.
No, I got them confused.
I'm going to look it up.
The old assistant from Clemson, Bradley LaCroix, I was talking to him today. They're going to ECU.
Wofford is at Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
With LSU.
And
Long Island.
That's gonna be a good
one. That's gonna be a good one. LSU. I mean, LSU. Their people are going to travel. They're going to be there.
UNC's got arms.
Wofford is still one of the smallest Division I schools in the country. They're right there at the top in terms of enrollment.
How about sending Georgia Tech to Georgia?
Kind of like that. I think that was where
UCF to Florida State. That's pretty.
And they had talked all week long about South Carolina going to Clemson.
Yeah,
that was a projection. D1 baseball had it. I would never think that would happen in reality.
I don't think they were wanting to give it to
maybe in a super regional, but not in a regional. I would.
Who is North Carolina's closer is that kid from Hampton.
Oh, yes, you're right.
Matt Poston.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep, you're right.
He's a old Wade Hampton guy.
I had come across that at some point this season.
I remember him being their catcher. He was a very good player. Man, that was a good team. Those were some good baseball games. Whew. May River, Wade Hampton back then. Those were some unbelievable games.
Oh, and they were in the same region back then. 3A.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But
yeah, Matt Poston.
He's their closer.
I'm trying to get his bio page to come up.
Well, I know I saw him throwing 98 the other day in the ACC tournament.
Well, that guy will probably get some. That Lowco guy will probably get a little playing time.
Yeah, he's playing.
Yep.
If he doesn't, it's a problem for them, or it's a really good thing for them.
No, he's their closer.
Yeah.
And then I watched. We don't have anybody left at Flodar, do we? I know Patterson and all those guys.
I don't think so. I saw Patterson retweet that today.
But I watched some of that game on TV today.
Yeah, I was on television.
Mm-hmm. Nice. ESPN 3.
The Ocho?
Yeah.
That one was on the Ocho.
They've got that's going to – and y'all want to talk some serious college baseball. There's some movement going on in college baseball coaching-wise.
Well, I saw your boy Monty's name come up the other day about the Citadel.
Yeah, I think he's happy where he's at. I'm not going to speak for him, but you got the Citadel's open, Winthrop's open. Winthrop, look, whatever that guy, he was an old Clemson assistant. He had been there 20-some years. So Winthrop's open. Coastal's open but not open. A lot of change. That's a lot of change in 1 year. And I would suspect if South Carolina doesn't have a fairly decent showing, you might see that being open.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, that's the nature of the beast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, I don't know though, man. Kingston's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they just once you win a couple championships, they start expecting those.
Well, it kind of puts a lot of our kids in flux.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a lot of your guys, as you want, that are. We tell our guys all the time that you need to try to stay in state because of the scholarships.
Right.
That just throws another wrench into the plans of, 3 or 4 in-state schools changing coaches.
Yeah.
That's not optimal.
Right.
Francis Marion was the other one. Their coach.
Okay.
Been there 100 years and retired.
Yeah, that was in Bennett. The guy, yeah, he was there for a while, wasn't he?
He was
in there 20-some years.
He coached. I remember because he recruited Walker Taylor, and he had coached Jay Taylor a long time ago. He had recruited him a long time ago, so that was interesting. But he's done, huh? Angel Hernandez is retiring.
Really?
Yeah. Can we all have a little celebration for Angel Hernandez?
That's gonna be some memes out tonight.
Should have retired a long time ago. But I was looking.
He must have won his lawsuit or lost his lawsuit. One of the two. Yeah. How can you be the worst umpire in the big leagues and suing Major League Baseball at the same time?
Here's what I was looking for, though. Actually, was Prime 17U was playing today. Pool play up at PBR. And
Slade hit a 3-run shot.
Yeah, they won 6-4. Slade hit a 3-run homer that was like, what was it, like 94 off the bat or something? Pretty solid. Tyson had 2 hits, 2 runs, and
he's had a good week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had a good week.
Slade's a good player, man. He was the Region Player of the Year, which I thought was deserved.
Yeah, he. I don't know if y'all seen any video of that thing yet, but wait till you hear it.
The home run? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did.
It sounded 94.
Yeah, it was solid. I did see it, and I'm trying to find the video of it.
I saw him over at their cages the other day, and he is noticeably bigger.
He's
like
solid.
He's grown. He's gonna be that's gonna be somebody's gonna scoop him up pretty soon.
94.2 off the bat. That's what it was, and I've got the video coming up for us here. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, turn the volume up.
Yeah, I will. Should be up.
And this wood bat.
Wow. Oh, that's a nice sound. That's a real nice sound. Oh. Man, that feels good just to hear it. 94.2 off the bat. So yeah, no, he's a very talented young man. And grown into, like you said, we've said for a couple of years now, man, if he had Steele's body, well, he's starting to look like Steele now, and he's going to be a problem. And the little one too, Stone, is coming up too, and he's pretty tough little ball player as well. So
yeah, he caught against our JV, and I think he was in 7th grade, wasn't he, or 7th or 8th grade? He was young.
Yeah, I believe he's a 7th grader, because he's our age. He's a good little ball player. He's tough.
Good too.
Yeah, very good. But all right, let's shout out some sponsors, boys. We haven't done any of that yet. The MVP sponsors of Lowco Sports. They're our MVPs for keeping us going. And it starts with my wife, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports. She's with Keller Williams, the Low Country. She'd love to help you find a place in the Lowco or upgrade to a bigger, better place. And so call on Meg and Jarrett if you're looking to get into the real estate market here in the Low Country. And when you find that home, go to Homegrown Home Inspections, have them look it over and make sure it's good to go. And if you're building a new home, you've got to have Jan Lucas and the team from Homegrown to do the phased inspection, check on it every step of the way and make sure it's built right with Homegrown Home Inspections. Hospice Care of the Low Country, our official hospice provider, only not-for-profit hospice in southern Beaufort County. And they're doing all kinds of great things over there at Hospice Care of the Low Country, where it's not about dying, it's about living. And the Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate closing attorney of LowcoSports and our original sponsor since 2017, presenting sponsor of our Lowco, of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. We appreciate Mickelson Law Firm. Call on them for your legal needs. What else? What other baseball stuff we got to talk about, boys? What's happening? Or softball?
Well, we need to get our guys.
You know, I know what's going on. Beaufort Ospreys are bringing back American Legion baseball this summer in the Loco, starting next week.
Very nice. Love that.
They're playing out of Battery Creek, and they start off next Monday at St. George, and then they're home Wednesday.
Who's on that team?
Friday. You know, I found a roster. Let me see if I can get it up here. I don't know. I assume it's a final roster. It's got a few guys I recognize and a few that I don't, which doesn't mean all that much. But here we go. Here's the roster that we found. I don't know a lot of these people, but I do know the Kreider kid plays at Thomas Hayward, I believe. The Hollingsworth kids can both play. We saw what Gunner could do.
That's your boy.
Gunner?
That's your boys.
Gunner's my boy. Yeah, those are my boys from the men's league. You know, Mullen, Simonson. I don't know the younger Simonson, I don't think.
Is he coaching it?
Who's that?
Who's coaching it?
I'm not sure. The coaches that it lists here are Todd Davis and A.G. Solomons, but those may be Legion officials. I don't know that they're the actual coaches. So we'll see. I came across it on Facebook and started digging around and found a schedule and roster and everything.
I wonder if they opened that up to everybody.
It said Jasper and Beaufort County is what it said. Which that's what I think they have the charter for, unless Hilton Head is operating, and then it complicates matters.
In Bluffton, I remember there were 3 teams on.
Yeah, one time there were 3. There didn't need to be. There were 2 good ones, and then Bluffton tried to get in the mix, and that was a bit of a disaster. But man, for a while there, it was both Hilton Head and Beaufort had really solid Legion teams.
It
was a lot of fun to cover over the summer.
I remember going to a lot of Low Country Heat games as a kid, and that was one of the coolest experiences ever. To go to a high level youth, high school age baseball game. Right
at the time, they had like Ryan Kelly and Pat Lawson playing on that one team, and they both ended up getting drafted. It was pretty fun.
Before travel ball got really big and you played every weekend, that was a great way to stay loose for the weekend. Because you don't play weekend games in Legion, you just play during the week.
Right.
And boy, you could stay hot going into a weekend tournament.
I love it. I hope they can keep it going, because
that was one of the best baseball teams I ever played on. Was my American Legion team. I mean, I was post. Everybody remembers their post too. I was post 41, and it was you had like 3 different counties. You had Guilford County, Davidson County, Randolph County. I mean, there were a lot of good baseball players around there, and they still compete. And a lot of
look at Sumter. I mean,
Sumter keeps it Hartsville.
Yeah,
they still play Legion baseball.
Yeah. They play the hell out of it, and Sumter and Hartsville are both a problem. Like they'll be a problem.
Goose Creek was always good. North.
Yeah, and so the league right now, it appears, is you got Beaufort, Charleston, Moncks Corner, St. George, and Walterboro. So I would guess Moncks Corner is going to look a lot like, there's going to be a lot of Berkeley guys on that team. I don't know exactly what Charleston and Moncks Corner, what that division looks like. And then, Walterboro is going to be a lot of Compton guys, St. George. Like, it seems like a lot of teams in that one region. So we'll see.
Well, that's good.
How strong they are, but
ton of travel. I remember when Seelbach and them were doing it, they had to go all over the place.
Right. Yeah, no, it's not too bad. And you get 2 at home and 1 away half the weeks, and you go on the road twice the other weeks.
And Dreesen was coaching back then too. He was great.
Yeah, Dreesen, really?
Oh yeah, he helped with him 1 year.
Legend, Major League Baseball. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a character too.
It's good to see. Do anything but ride the bus.
Anything but ride the bus. Well, that's kind of your rule too, right?
Yeah, I don't ride the bus.
You don't get on the bus.
I ain't riding the bus.
You know what else we got coming up starting next week on Friday is the All-Star tournaments are coming around. Kicking it off with the 6 and under Coach Pitch All-Stars starting Friday the 7th at Oscar Frazier.
So that's not this Friday, next Friday.
Right.
I tell you who's going all out for this thing is Orangeburg. Because I've been going back and forth, it seems like, here for the last month.
Well, they've got a World Series or something, don't they?
Yeah. Have you seen, man, and they've got as many billboards as Buc-ee's going up through there. They have got half a dozen billboards as soon as you hit.
But do they have as many as Pedro?
No. I was wondering if they were going to put it on there, like put Pedro on there, but they have got some billboards on 26.
They are excited for this World Series, huh? Can you imagine? I was just thinking about this. Could you imagine being from a team from South Carolina and winning the state championship and getting to go to the World Series and it was in Orangeburg?
I'm trying to think, Justin, you and I have been doing this a while with this travel ball. Have you ever been to Orangeburg to play anything?
Never. I can't imagine where they're going to play this thing.
Are they
never heard of a
new?
tournament there. Never nothing.
Are they building something new? I mean.
But I just can't imagine if you win the state championship. Where do we get to go for the World Series? Orangeburg.
Yeah, no, that was I think I had a sister who played the team tennis, and they got to nationals. Guess where nationals was? Florence, South Carolina.
Florence, yeah, same place as state and regionals.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but even if you're going to do Florence in baseball, I mean, they got top-notch facilities,
Not the one we played at when we were 8. We played at the other one. They got the concession stand broke into on the first night.
Oh boy.
Oh shoot. But no, we you know what else we can get your opinion on, because Stu thought you'd have an opinion on this. The Hanahan play.
Yeah, the Hanahan call. Oh my. No, that was.
Do we even get you started?
I've heard it both ways. Like, you'll hear the umpires just doubling down of it was obvious this, obvious that. As a former catcher, I don't know
what else he's supposed to do.
What else is he supposed to do? Not only, I mean, he gave that kid did everything. All that kid did was make a great play.
That's right.
And and what's my favorite? What's our favorite saying, Justin? Who gets screwed? The kids get screwed. I mean, it just, that kid just makes an unbelievable play. This umpire's got to get to be part of the game.
Yes.
And who gets screwed? The kid that made the great play. You could probably break it down and find some problem of a rule there, somehow. I mean, I've heard it argued 100 different ways. I just know the kid made a really good play and gave the guy an avenue and drop step to give him an avenue.
Yeah. And the guy didn't slide, by the way.
And he's 10 foot up the line.
Yeah, he's not even to the apron.
He's 10 foot out the line, 10 foot up the line, and he's 10 feet out. So that's 20 feet he's out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's I hate it. I hate it for him. I mean, but nothing surprises me with umpires anymore.
There you go. Watch
the drop step. Watch him give him an avenue.
Yeah, I know.
He gave him, and what's even more surprising is the kid's so far out that he doesn't even do the slide where he should slide, where he'll slide around him.
Right. He wasn't even. It wasn't even time for him to slide yet.
Why don't the damn umpire just kick the bat out of the way?
Right. I saw that too. That was driving me crazy.
There's all kinds of stuff in the way. I mean, that's just a horrific call.
And at least theoretically, this should be one of our best, right? It's a state championship game.
But if you read all the umpire websites that guys have been sending me on this, they say how good of a call he made and how gutsy it was and this and that. And I'm like,
well, earlier in the game, I don't know.
I got nothing. I don't understand.
That was earlier in the same game.
I do know this. I passed some. When I went up through there, I was up near Clemson. I was up at Clemson, but we got some. I think our facilities around here. We're talking about our facilities in Beaufort County are getting better.
Yeah.
We got a long way to go.
No, the arms race has continued while we've been catching up.
Oh my goodness, Lawrence and Chesney and those folks, and don't tell me that Chesney has that much more money than us. I'll never believe it.
Shoot, that ballpark up in Union, and that's that one company right there that they got a factory factory right there across the street, basically where everybody in town works, and they invested in the ballpark because they want the people who work for their company to have things to use, and I appreciate that a lot. It's a really nice complex, and seemingly the middle of nowhere, and it draws revenue to the town, and it's a great thing.
And I'm not even talking about that. I mean, we've got the facilities. We just need to put money into it.
Right.
I mean, how did we just? I ain't getting on them. Did we just pass a $500 million thing recently?
And I'm excited to see this growth of Crossings Park and what we talked about it last summer, but that should be on the way, right? The growth of Crossings over in Hilton, because
it's going to have a big field on it now, right?
Yep, that's coming. Yep. That's great, but we need some stuff out in Bluffton.
Right,
that's out of field.
Centralized. It's a good centralized location.
Our rec season this year, we got 4 practices. We were supposed to have 8, and 4 of them got rained out.
I would like to know, and I'm asking a question here. This isn't a statement, of why we can't cooperate more with the rec now that our seasons are over.
Right.
Ballparks need, they need usage.
Right. Yeah.
They don't need to sit around. And all I ever hear is, well, we don't have field space. We don't have this. We don't have that.
That's a great call. Why shouldn't the Dixie boys teams, for example, the Diamond Youth boys 14U teams be playing on the high school fields that the other fields can be available for other uses?
90% of the kids are all Beaufort County school district kids.
Right.
I can't see how that doesn't. Every one of these teams carries insurance. Every one of the leagues carry insurance.
Right. I'd love to just have access to a softball field to just take a bunch of girls out there who want to go practice.
It just doesn't make sense to me that maybe somebody from the county's watching.
And not have to pay $40 for it.
I would now. I know where you should have to pay something.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be like out of, buy the team a drag or something.
Yeah.
Buy them a couple new rakes.
Yeah.
Everybody can use that stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't understand when you've got, River Ridge has got a field.
Mm-hmm. I have still yet to ever see anyone on that Bluffton middle softball field. Ever.
The one they just built.
The one that sits right there on the road?
The Bluffton middle one. Oh, my gosh, you're right.
I've never seen a human being on it ever in all my days.
And somebody's going to have to – I'd also like to ask somebody a question of what the idea was that field at McCracken.
Well, I got a lot of questions about that. if you read the newspaper, there's a lot of questions to be answered.
60-foot. Hey, we're gonna build a 60-foot baseball field and put a $10,000 backstop up there.
And by the way, the track, the high school track, is right behind the
you can't make it up, dude.
The 6-foot fence on the 60-foot baseball field, so you can't do anything.
I mean, I just don't. Sometimes you just like, guys, did anybody look at this? I mean, did we put any thought into this at all?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand you're trying to do something good.
Right.
But evidently there's a fine line between trying to do something good and just wasting damn money.
All right. Well, this is what happens when we don't have a lot of news to talk about, folks. We get a little off the rails. But
I'm asking more questions here than making statements.
Rhetorical questions. Varsity sponsors LowcoSports. DDS Web Design builds, hosts, and maintains websites for businesses and nonprofits to get results. So if you need to get found online so you can do more and think bigger, go to ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group, serving legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties, and jumping on board to help us continue to expand our coverage in those counties so we can shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Lowco. Dr. Ambrose Cole is our official chiropractor. You can find him at Rooted Living Wellness, and he'll get you feeling better, mind, body, and spirit. They're also treating our friend Coach Blake from Reverence Wrestling Club, coming off that ruptured Achilles, trying to get back on the mat. But Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor and the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. Check out last night's episode if you're into the combat stuff, the wrestling and the MMA and the fighting. We had all kinds of stuff on there thanks to our friends at Reverence Wrestling Club. So speaking of which, Mullis, I got to drag you to the fights next time.
How was that?
It was fun as hell, man. It was a blast. We had a great time. One of my favorites was Justin Harvey, who's 43 years old, making his debut in kickboxing. And I was like, I saw a buddy of mine that I coached softball with, and I said, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, my training partner from Riptide's fighting tonight. And I said, what? He goes, yeah, Justin Harvey. And I was like, oh, that name sounds familiar. And then I saw him. I was like, oh, yeah, I know that guy. He coaches in our rec league. He gets in there, about 10 seconds in, he drops this dude with a kick to the face. Just put him down. And he had so many friends and family and like supporters there. The place just went absolutely nuts when he knocked him out. He told Carlo after he's retiring 1-0, baby.
There you go.
But here was the highlight for me. Carlo was interviewing Summer Estrella, 11-year-old girl who is just amazing. We had her on the other night. She's hilarious. She's making her youth MMA debut on Saturday night, which youth MMA, just to clarify, no headshots whatsoever. They've got like pads on their shins for kicking and stuff. Is mostly wrestling with a little bit of, some body blows and some kicks. But Summer got the submission in the second round. Summer's mom, who is famous, made a little drop in on Carlo's post-fight interview.
Well, Summer, congratulations, and I wish you nothing but the best. That's Summer Estrella. I'm Carlo Perruzza. Stick around.
Introduce her as the biggest badass in here. After you saw that fight, I don't know why you keep calling her that. Now say, everybody, thank you, the biggest badass, Summer Estrella, and then continue.
Okay, correction. The biggest badass, Summer Estrella. I think that's a better title for you. How do you feel about that title?
It suits me in every way.
All right, well, that's the biggest badass, Carlo Estrella.
Hey,
no,
Carlo.
That is the biggest badass, Summer Estrella. I'm Carlo Perruzza. Maybe I'll be a badass like you one day. I'm trying to be a badass. I'm trying.
When you grow up, you might be like me.
Well, maybe I'll work on it. That's badass, Summer Estrella. I'm Carlo Perruzza. Stick around.
Hey, Carlo. I'm gonna interview you for a second, Carlo. Have you been more intimidated by interviewing a fighter than your face right there when Macey came up yelling at you?
I was just thinking her.
That was amazing. That would be Lacey Evans, WWE heel, aka Macey Estrella, who's Summer's mom. She's standing there behind the camera with me, and he's about to wrap it up, and she says, is it okay if I interrupt? And I was like, oh, yes, please do. And she just went right into character and jumped over there and made Carlo's life. Like, it just made his whole life. He was so excited. was all in good fun. It was all an act. We were good friends after. We were good friends before and good friends after. But
that little girl, it didn't look like an act.
What, the little girl?
Real. Yeah, she looks tough.
Oh, she's mean, dude. She's unreal, but she's so cute. Like, she's a gymnast, like she's Finley, except that she wants to get in the cage and whip somebody's butt. Although, the other night I told her that I didn't think my 10-year-old would want to do that. But then when I played that clip for Finley, she said, "Oh yeah, I'll fight somebody." So
not surprised.
Maybe they are a little more alike than I realized. But no, it was good times over there the other night. It was good times. And our friend Bradley, no longer a free monkey. Bradley the Baboon has been captured up in Walterboro. He had his wild weekend on the town, but he's back at home now.
I got nothing.
Oh, I saw some hilarious posts about Bradley this weekend.
Golly, man. He had a good run.
He did. I was impressed. I was sure that he was going to make it out to Yemisi and be reunited with his people at the monkey farm.
And then there's one you can go out there and there like an island.
Monkey Island, yeah, Morgan Island. You ain't been out there?
Oh, I've been by on a boat a few times.
Yeah, apparently you can go by on the boat and they'll come out in the trees and look at you go by. But yeah, it's a it's a low country special. We got monkeys running.
Can't make it up.
Never know what to throw you next.
Apparently, the people of Walterboro were just fine with just letting him be. Just letting him be a resident of Walterboro from here on out.
Make him.
Oh, that's just Bradley. Don't mind him. But I don't know what else, boys. I got nothing else. We had Bradley and we had Macey Estrella video bombing Carlo, and that was about it.
I know we're going to have some other people tune in tonight to hear me trash College Charleston.
Right. Well, of course. You guys got anything else to share and tell? What did you see today that caught your eye? What's funny you want to talk about?
I got a question for Major League Baseball.
Okay.
How are the New York Yankees not on like Memorial Day? How they got a day off today?
It should be like NFL Thanksgiving, where you
imagine complaining. They got a whole day off. Yeah,
I got a question. When you know you're going to have Memorial Day Monday,
is like either
everybody should play a Memorial Day.
But I mean, you got the Yankees on the West Coast.
Right.
How are the Yankees and Dodgers not playing tonight?
It should be 4th of July every year. You have every team playing. You have the biggest rivalries like Yankees, Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, Cubs.
Anybody. I mean, this is where.
I mean, you need to have that signature day because the NFL has it, NBA has it.
You don't think you ain't gonna catch Pat Mahomes on Christmas or whatever? When they've got a holiday.
Yeah.
Well, NBA thought they owned Christmas, and then the NFL was like, "Yeah, we think we'll take
New Year's Day is college football."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and speaking of that, I got some mad friends up in North Carolina today too.
About what?
The World 600 last night, just cutting that thing off at 12:30. Why are they not racing today and finishing it?
Well, they must have had high school league rules.
Boy, I talked to some mad folks today. They were like, "What do you mean this thing?"
Were they madder than what y'all were about the May River Bluffton baseball game?
Oh, still mad.
It was a good weekend of racing.
Still mad.
You had the Indy 500. You had the Formula One Monaco.
My favorite day of the year. My favorite day of the year.
Yeah. Great day. Great day of racing.
He's from North Carolina, if you couldn't tell from that nasal accent. He likes racing.
Yeah.
I was telling some of my friends at home, I was like, I thought I didn't know I had a damn accent. So I listened to this damn podcast I go on.
No, you got the nasal North Carolina thing. That's the North Carolina thing. It's through the nose.
Man, it's bad. It's worse than I thought.
It's like you're holding it in your nose a little bit. That's all you got to do. Like a North Carolina person.
Worse than I thought. It's gonna be some good baseball this weekend, though.
Yeah, this is the best time. I mean, this is the best time of the year to be a college baseball fan. I mean, it's the first week of the regionals are awesome. I mean, action packed from noon to midnight, and I mean,
it's there all day, every day.
baseball with so much at stake.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing better. There's nothing better.
I'm gonna go up and stay with Willie this weekend and watch that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Willie, by the way. We showed a picture of him the other night and quoted you. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Oh yeah, he's had a good run of it. And we got a lot of kids that that you got. You just got to pay attention to what you're good at.
Yeah.
Willie Corn. We were talking about Willie today. Willie could have played for a lot of college baseball teams.
Yep.
Oh,
But
for sure.
Willie's going to be a really good doctor someday.
Yep.
And I mean, you just hate it because it runs out on folks. But he that's a college baseball player.
Yep.
But he's gonna be a major league doctor.
Love it. And he was like top of his class, right?
Oh yeah.
Valedictorian or salutatorian, one or the other.
Oh,
It was he and the catcher Olivia Williams were the top two. So I love to see that, and I told both of them, I'm like, I love it when we see our student athletes are at the top of the charts academically. That's awesome to see. So kind of bucking that stereotype of the dumb jock. Certainly there are a few out there, but for the most part, the kids that make it that far in sports, they've got it together in some kind of way.
Especially May River. That's a great academic school. They have their.
If you think you're going to be a dumb jock these days, you are sadly mistaken.
Yep.
Especially baseball, you got to have the grades to, make your way.
I'm going to tell you. I tell kids this all the time. It never fails. The first thing a coach asks. Well, they take it for granted about grades.
Mm-hmm.
But it never is not brought up within the first two sentences of the conversation.
Right. Yep.
And
they figure you wouldn't even be bothering to talk to them about the kid if they don't have the grade.
I mean, the way it is nowadays, something we could wrap this up on is it's going to affect your kid probably way more than a lot of kids. This 11.5 is getting ready to go away. Scholarships.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to, it's just going to be what number do they settle on? It's going to be interesting to see what number they settle on football too.
Right. Well, and now you're talking about paying people straight up at Power Fives.
Right.
Right.
I ain't even worried about paying people. How about just give everybody a baseball scholarship that's in there?
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's start there.
Yeah. Amen.
And instead of 11.25 or whatever.
Yeah. And they're carrying 80 guys. You're like, come on. This is outrageous.
And everybody's got to have 25% that's on scholarship. So you start.
I think they get 11.7, don't they?
Yeah, whatever it is. It's 11 point something.
Some absurd. Some ridiculous number of players that you couldn't possibly field a baseball team with. It's crazy. But, hey, the Lowco Booster Club helps keep us going, so please support them. Court Lifestyle Pros, you have Daniel and Debbie Court, who are Lowco natives who want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. They're with Charter One Realty. I think you're in the Charter One family, right, Mullis?
Charles Sampson group there, the Courts.
Yeah? Are they in the Charles Sampson group?
Oh, yeah.
The Court Lifestyle Pros? All right. Well, it's all in the family.
They were at one time. I better check.
The Revive Rehab Women's Health and Pelvic Floor Physical Therapy. They're Dr. Allie and Dr. Jenner over there. They'd love to work with new moms and get them back on their feet. Eagle Creations is a great place over on Argent Boulevard. You can go see their showroom to see all their promotional items and custom apparel and all kinds of other stuff they can do for you at Eagle Creations. Jay's Barbershop, great place in downtown Ridgeland. If you need a haircut or not, you can go in for some great conversation and come out looking stylish at Jay's Barbershop. And Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. Chris Odom will get your floors so clean, your feet will thank you. So, Mullis, if you know anybody who has dirty floors, tell them to call Chris at Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. But parting shots, fellas. Any last words before we call it a night?
Big week.
Yeah.
Exams for all our kids this week.
Yeah. Amen. Wes?
Yep.
Wes, you got a parting thought, bud?
Yeah. I have a couple things to say about this, this time of year. And, just it's tough to see the end of high school sports, but a lot to look forward to with what's to come in this summer, especially with what we're going to see in some of these youth baseball tournaments. I'm excited to get out there to Oscar Frazier Park and do some PA work potentially alongside Max Araj. That is one of the most exciting, events of the summer, because these kids, it's for the love of the game more than anything else. I mean, there's nothing better than seeing these kids just compete. I mean, to the best of their possible ability to win baseball games and softball games. You see it at the high school level as well, but these kids it's genuine bare bones.
It's fun.
Baseball and softball.
It's so fun.
It's just great to see.
Especially the 6 and under. Oh man, it's so fun. It's a blast. I can't wait to go check those guys out. And it's just fun because the whole town rallies around it. You get the Hilton Head people and the Bluffton people and the Beaufort people all there, and it's good times. And then it's really fun for us because 5 years later we're like, 5 years later we're like, I remember that guy when he was 6. He was an animal.
That's what we were talking about posting. I remember posting when he was 7.
Just tearing you up.
Well, we played. He was a little older. I mean, I just saw it.
I don't remember who none of these kids were, but I do remember getting thrown out of an 8U All-Star game when we were playing Hampton when we were 7.
And happy Memorial Day. We remember everyone who made the ultimate sacrifice here in our area and across the country for all that they contribute towards our continued freedom. And I mean, this is a notable holiday in our country, and we wish all those who are no longer with us for what they did, and those veterans who continue to defend our country.
Amen to that, brother. On that note, Trig Tennant, our new friend from the Foundry, a Marine, got the dub the other night in his amateur MMA debut. Beat a tough dude who was 2-0 from Greenville. So
Paul
that was fun.
Dad, old Marine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I wonder how they're doing. They're probably in the second inning or so by now. But we'll get an update on how Paul and the Grizzlies from George Gwinnett did on our next show. Planning for Wednesday and Friday night this week with Wes, and we'll see if Max Araj can come along for the ride. Thanks, Coach Mullis, for jumping on with us, and all of our local.
I'll give you a live update from Clemson Friday.
There we go.
Hey.
And, there we go.
All right, guys.
Thanks to all of our sponsors as well as you for showing up to Listener Watch. We'll be back Wednesday night. Till then, for Ned Mullis and Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Stay loco, baby.
The LowcoSports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing.